Aye. And those in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. On that note, honorable members, I welcome you to the meeting, as well as the officials from Naqaa and the subject matter specialists. Before us, the agenda item reads opening prayers, consideration of annual actuary reports, and audited financial statements by the National Accreditation and Quality Assurance Authority, and any other business. Can any honorable member move that we adopt the agenda with or without amendment?
I rise that we adopt the agenda without amendment.
It has been moved and seconded that we adopt the agenda as it is. Those in favor, please say aye. And those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. On that note, the agenda stands adopted. I'm not sure whether we have any new member here for the introduction. Yeah, the one from Akalajivi, I think, had the introduction during the previous committee engagement. For Naqaa, no. You were all here yesterday. Okay, we may proceed with the main agenda item, that is the consideration of the annual activity reports and audited financial statements of Naqaa. At this juncture, I will now invite honorable members. So before I do so, yesterday we received your reports and the copies were given to honorable members and the subject matter specialists for review. And there the subject matter specialists adequately went through and summarized the reports as follows. The analysis of the audited financial statements of Naqaa for the financial year 2020 is given here under. The auditors opinion that the financial statements given a true and fair of the financial position of the authority as at 1st December 2020, and as of its financial performance and its cash flows for the year then ended, and has been prepared in accordance with general accepted accounting principles and adherent to the requirements of Naqaa Act 2015. The basis of opinion, the auditors believe that the audit evidence they have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide basis of their opinion. The key audit matters, there were no key audit matters to brought to the attention of the management. The performance. The current assets of Naqaa has grown between 2019 and 2020 from 27.675 million to 34.067 million, mainly on account of improved cash and bank balances. A healthy investment of 14.909 million is maintained, even though at a lower level when compared to the amount of 18.629 million in 2019. The increase in accruals of audit of other suppliers of 651,750 was the main cause of increase in current liabilities. Naqaa operating supplies of 4.886 million in 2020 was comparable to the surplus of 4.893 million of 2019. This is reflected in the improvement of accumulated fund from 67.862 million at the beginning of 2019 to 72.748 million at the end of 2020. The revenue expenditure patterns for 2019 and 2020 are very similar. There is consistency in both aspects of their operations. Naqaa was able to generate enough to pay its operations during 2020. A net cash flow of 11.002 million was recorded. See the cash flow statement in page 11. On the management letter points, the committee's attention is being drawn to the following section of the management letter. And I will leave that for the committee members individually to ask those questions for clarification. I may read. Good. The committee's attention is being drawn to the following sections of the management letter. 1, on the fuel management, and 2, the staff loan application form, 3, withholding tax certificate, and 3, the internal audit, and 4, review and implementation status of the previous period year audit finances. These are areas where I would like Naqaa to shed light on. To begin with, first, the fuel management. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, Chairman and honorable members. As you rightly stated, this is the audit for 2020, and the management letter that came of it, and the recommendation that came from our auditors. We took it in good faith, and it is definitely value added to the institution. We have responded to that, and to be more precise is that the fuel, when the auditors raised this issue, we've moved the fuel management issue from a junior staff to a senior staff now. And then we also have the fuel policy in place. So that issue in the authority is now sorted. And the vehicles also, we've developed the vehicle log sheet, which is being used by our drivers, even the generators that we are using. If fuel is issued for use of generators, they are locked in a logbook.
The committee would like clarification on how the November fuel issues were posted in October. That is to say, actually, why it did not belong. Why backdating the issue of the October issues posted in November?
Okay. Normally, what happens is that when fuel is issued to staff and vehicles and the generators, these are captured in a system. First, we have the logbook where every issue is signed by the staff that is taking the fuel. So at the end of the month, we post this thing into the system. Sometimes, yes, there are delays in posting, but that is very, very infrequent. So we've taken that recommendation into consideration, and there are improvements to it now. So what we are doing is to try to ensure that the fuel issue for every month is done in that very month, so that when we are generating the management account, we know the exact fuel that is utilized for that month, because it makes reporting very accurate and consistent.
If you may inform the committee whether there is in place the guidelines on fuel control.
There is what?
Do you have the guideline for fuel control?
We have a fuel policy.
Fuel policy?
Yes, in place.
That guide you how fuel is supposed to be controlled?
Exactly.
And you do keep records of how you distribute and then control the fuel?
Yes, we do have a record of how fuel is issued first. We have a logbook where it is first controlled, and then we have a system where after the logbook we have a system where the senior officer who is responsible now logs into the system and transfer everything from the logbook to the system. So we have almost two types of system where we track the issuance of fuel to staff, fleet of vehicle, and the generator.
Do you review your fuel records?
Yes, it's open to the auditors. The auditors have easy access to that one. We don't hide anything.
You don't hide?
No.
Don't say so.
Oh, yeah.
On reconciliation of one of the stocks, are the records maintained?
Well, we mean fuel records?
Yeah.
Yes, they are well maintained.
Okay.
Thank you. And I will start by thanking the management and board.
It's okay. And the other question is on the issue of maintenance of generator and vehicle logbooks. Do you have that in place? You do have. The staff loan application process. Do you have the staff loan policy in place? And you strictly adhere to the policy? And we'll be strongly recommending to adhere to the loan processing in accordance with the policy that you said you are having. There are institutions that usually have problem in terms of loan recovery. I'm not sure whether you are also faced with that.
Mr. Chairman, we have a system whereby somebody within the institution serves as a guarantor. So we don't have recovery problem. In case of the default of the person who has taken the loan, then we can recover it from the guarantor.
On withholding tax, is it?
Well, withholding tax, as indicated by the auditors, I think we have improved our process on this. It's not as if we are not withholding tax. We are withholding tax, but then we are not giving out the withholding tax to the taxpayer. Now we have changed that one. Every tax that we withhold, we prepare the withholding tax and send it by email to the taxpayer. And the certificate. We prepare the certificate and send it by email.
How is your level of compliance with your internal auditor?
Well, the auditor, I cannot speak for him. I think
internal.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I think at Naqaa we have a pre-audit system. There is no payment made without audit vetting it. So that is it. There is no payment that can be made without the blessings of audit. That's the system we have. It's a pre-audit system.
Yes.
Yeah, but thank you for that. But what the auditors are saying is there is no timeline. And the other thing also is management is not responsive with regards to internal audit recommendations. You know, once the internal auditor have done his routine work, normally he will come up with recommendations. So the implementation of these recommendations is where the auditors are coming up with findings. And no matter how effective the internal audit is, if they come up with risks, and again, secondly, they are saying the internal audit department does not maintain a risks register, which means the Naqaa environment, after their evaluation, they are not coming to the level of management and telling them in this operation, because the function of internal audit is, in simple terms, to make a walk through the system and see the exposures and come up with mitigative strategies. So overall, we are they are questioning the efficiency of the internal audit unit within Naqaa. So how does management react to internal audit recommendations? Okay,
thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, I think there was no instant when management disregarded requests for corrective action from internal audit. This gentleman who is now the finance manager used to be the senior internal auditor, internal audit manager. And okay, there are no timelines attached to the corrective actions, but anytime we receive a query from him, we summon management immediately and take action immediately. He's here to testify if you want.
I think our response to that observation was that we did not need an implementation timeline because the implementations are real time. When the doctor said we do a pre-audit, so you don't wait until a quarter ends or a year and audit is done frequently. So whenever there are issues that we deem should be brought to the attention of management, we do an audit memo, and an audit subcommittee would meet real time. And most of these things were done before we do an audit follow-up, so there was no need for an implementation timeline. That was the argument of the audit at the time, was there was no need for an implementation timeline if activities are done real time. If they were going to do it over time, then the implementing agency would have given a timeline for a week or two for these things to be done. And the auditors can confirm that all the audit queries that were raised were all implemented in real time.
Simplified, I would just, the last one this time, on this issue. No, on this issue, It's, I will refer you to page 8. Under observations. Let's look at B. It says, upon review on the unit's report, we noted there is no agreed timeline to implement the internal audit findings by the personnel responding to further improve on timely implementation on issues raised. Internal audit is on the processes, so it's a continuous one to mitigate the inherent risks involved in the process. But what the auditors are saying, on those processes, here and there, they might find some gaps, and these gaps would expose Naqaa to certain inherent risks. So when these gaps are exposed, management doesn't come out and specify that, A, to address this, we will do it between this period to that period, or before this other period, we'll make sure that these risks are eliminated. This is what the auditors are. They are not saying that the internal auditors are not working. Of course, if they were not working, there will be no report. The fact that there is a report means the internal audit unit is working. But now, management giving internal audit that support and making sure that their recommendations are implemented in a timely manner is what is lacking. So now the question is, how is it obtained in Naqaa as at now? So I wouldn't allow the finance manager to answer that, because the internal auditor should not report to that guy. He is supposed to be independent. Can we have the...
No, I was, at the time of this audit, I was...
You were the internal auditor, but now you've shifted to...
Finance manager.
Let's have the director answer that one. You are doing a good job. The auditors... You are doing a good job, because the auditors have highlighted that here. You've produced so many reports. So now that support which you needed from management is what we wanted to know. But we are in 2022 now, and this report is way back in 2020. So you want to know, how is it obtained in Naqaa as of now? How is management responding with regards to internal auditor?
Internal audit is the most empowered unit at Naqaa, and everybody knows it. Without their blessing, nothing can be purchased. The queries are very minimal, and management style is that we respond to it immediately. And now what council has done is for internal audit to have a dual reporting line. Reporting to the CEO for operational issues, but reporting to the admin and finance subcommittee of the council. And reports have been submitted to them for review. So there is nothing pending that audit has highlighted and management has not worked on it. All these issues highlighted in this management letter is all history now.
Do you have the internal auditor here?
No, he's not here.
What about the risk register?
Yes, currently for 2020, there was no risk register. We felt before you do an audit, you do a client screening, and before you come up with an audit plan, you do a risk assessment. That for us suffices. We felt the risk register that is here in Ben mentioned applies to an enterprise risk management department that Naqaa doesn't have. But where an institution is too small, it doesn't have an enterprise risk management. We agreed with the auditors during the exit meeting that yes, we could take it upon ourselves. And since then, the audit has developed one. The 2021 audit would show that.
Yes, I just wanted to get clarification about the reporting line of the internal auditor, whether he reports to the Director General or he reports to the board, so that we can actually see his independence, because it's important that we establish that first, and then maybe some of the queries. Who does he report to?
The internal audit is normally appraised on operational issues by the CEO. Otherwise, he becomes a stand-alone unit without any supervision. He must be supervised by who? By the CEO. But all the audit reports are sent to the admin and finance subcommittee of the governing council. So the CEO has no influence on that. So it's a dual reporting line.
So normally when the reports are sent to them, whatever they do with it, they come back to the CEO for redress or whatever they recommend.
Exactly.
Okay.
The council will it will descend on me.
Okay.
But I have no influence on this. I cannot tamper with it.
Okay. But who does his appraisal? You do his appraisal or
Yes, I appraise him.
who appraise him?
Yes.
Wow. Interesting. Okay.
Sorry. Can we have the external auditor's opinion on that, please?
With regard to appraisal, I think in terms of reporting, I mean, they report into the board audit council audit subcommittee, and then they
Okay. My only issue here is the Director General is an integral. He is the head of the institution. The internal auditor, in his responsibility, he should not be conflicted. He shouldn't feel intimidated. And he should not in any way feel an element of what? Fear, control within the environment he is operating. He should be independent so that he can make objective what? Decisions. So on normal instances, he should have been reporting to the chairman of the board. To the chairman of the board directly, so that he can be independent. Because today, if I happens to be the MD and you are the internal auditor, and eventually you know that there are so many things that should come to you, which at the end of the day I have the final say. For you to be conflicted might be very, very easy. Of course, we'll take the word of the external auditor that he is very efficient, but that might be a very, very rare environment altogether. But we are looking at the ideal situation here to avoid conflict. You want to come in?
External auditor?
Yeah.
okay. Thank you very much for that. So just to understand better, you're suggesting that they should report to the board chairman. Okay, but with their governance structure, what they have, as usual, recommended is they have subcommittees, and you have the audit committee and various other committees, and within those committees, there's another reporting line to the main board. So that's how it works. I mean, in all
Actually,
Savants Oxley and all of
yeah,
international banks and
actually, that's what I was about to say. That normally they have dual reporting lines. So issues on operational aspects, for example, within they would of course report to the CEO or the Director General also. But then on other matters of interest to the organization in terms of like audit also, they report directly to the board so that they remove that kind of conflict. But for example, if the person has to be disciplined, for example, of course the DG would have to do that, not the board themselves. But if the auditor actually sees something very abnormal, fraudulent, or something that's not in line with their operating standards, then he goes to the board straight, not to him. Then the board would actually prepare whatever agreement they make and then summon him for him to take action.
Personally, I work as an internal auditor for 10 straight years. It depends on the organizational culture and how you are viewing it. But what is objective is the fact that internal auditors are supposed to be independent, because the overall operational efficiency of the organization lies in their hands. They are responsible for risk mitigation, risk assessment, and all of this involves interactions between human personnel of the organization. But if it works well for Naqaa, that's okay. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Any other issue? If no issue on the while we are looking for that, can we get to GPPA? Sorry, GPPA. Yes. Can you give us the compliance rate of Naqaa? Your hand is up.
Mr. Chairman, we wish to object to that because the report was never conclusive. When there were complaints, they sent us a draft report which did not depict the reality. We wrote back and they never came back to us.
That was when?
When did we? 2018, yes, things like that.
2018.
Yeah, the audit was never conclusive. The files were in my conference hall, and at a point I asked them to take them back. All of a sudden, when there were complaints, the report came to my office, and then a committee met. We responded that this is not reflective of what is happening. We are auditors, we audit institutions. When you audit, the draft report must be sent. You allow the institution to respond with justifications, then you come back and then submit a final report based on the evidence submitted. That has never been done, so we are surprised that they are here to make any presentation and determine compliance. Thank you.
Let's just hear from them.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I see Dr. Joe is attacking me even before starting. Actually, I don't have a report for you.
Okay.
I don't have a report for you. And we are working on scheduling them for this second round. And about the report he's talking about, I honestly don't know anything about it. No, we met on the corridor and I told him I have a bad report for you. So he's trying to defend himself before I start. So, Dr. Jao, no worries. You will see us soon in your office. Thank you.
How many reports actually are pending for Naqaa with GPA so far? Now 2021. Oh. Yes.
Yeah, with regards to GPPA, a report pending from 2018 to date, do you think that is professional? I mean, the report pending from, it means you have not been appearing at the office from since 2017 to date. The last time you went there or the last time you had a report for them was 2017, if I'm right. And do you think that is professional to work that way?
That's unprofessional, to be honest. But I don't know when was the last time they went there. Honestly, I was not part of the team. And what I know is we already scheduled them and we are going to be there maybe even this month. So about the 2017, 2018, and 2019, I'm even surprised. I thought maybe the only pending report is 2020. So about the other pending one, honestly, I cannot say much about it unless when I go back to the office, maybe Jallo will call you about that.
But can you tell us why all this delay?
Like I said, I don't know much about that report. Because when I came here, what I was told, they were scheduled. But when I met him in the corridor, I told him that I have a report for you. He told me, no, your report is not finished. So we were waiting for you guys. That's how I learned about that report. But honestly, I don't know anything about that report.
Mr. Chair, Honorable Chair, I think if it is possible, for me, I recommend we reschedule Naqaa, and so that we can also have a representative from GPPA, at least for them to be able to tell us exactly what is happening, what is stopping them from going to Naqaa for their report. Thank you.
Sorry. I think that's for GPPA, not actually Naqaa per se. Yeah, the doors of Naqaa is open.
Yeah, that's fine.
Perhaps what closed the door of GPPA is something else. Yeah. So, Honorable Fofana?
Yes. What I want to say is, we should summon GPPA, the senior management, and then have an in-house keeping with them. Because the way they...
To write a letter to that effect, so that they can come and give us a comprehensive, report of all the reviews they've made for all institutions. You know, the government of the Gambia, central one, we have not seen anything. Since...
Do you remember, they did provide that to us. This is around May, June, when we started.
Yeah.
And what we did was, we called upon them. They brought that checklist. But what we've learned as a committee as well is, GBPA, if you sit here today, Fpac, and you say, let their management come, tomorrow all of them will be here. And why am I saying this? The 6th legislature, the reports we've received from GPPA is less than 2. And in this consideration is the activity report, the audited financial statements, and what? The compliance. You know, so we are making considerations, adopting all of these reports without the compliance. So now we are looking at the 2020 accounts of what? Naqaa, when GPPA is working on the 2018. By the time we'll be looking at 2024, it will be in 2020. So, and these two have to go together. So let's invite their management and then have some in-house keeping. Yeah. We cannot say that out here, but when we sit as, they are part of Fpac. GPPA is part of Fpac, so we can sit down and then sort those out. You know? Yeah.
I think that's noted. That's why I said the issue is not for Naqaa but GPPA. And Naqaa is not the only institution that is affected. Since we've started, only very few had reports from GPPA. In fact, even having a seat here to act on that, it's only today that Madam came. I hope that is going to continue. She will come. Then on that, as you recommended, we'll be instructing the clerk to write to them and then invite seriously for them to come and guide us or take us through why they are not auditing the institutions, or most of them, if I may put it that way, because it's part of the requirement that we need to get the GPPA compliance, not only the activity financial statement, but the compliance as well. It's just that we cannot just suspend our work without the compliance. Before, companies had been doing that, but it was not helpful. So GPPA need to come up. Okay?
Yes. I was just going back to Naqaa. I just wanted to find out the governing council up to date, whether you have a new one or is the same one that is continuing, or are there any changes on the governing council?
The act has been changed. We have a new act, and the board is as per the new one. Thank you. 2015. No, 2021. Yes, 2021.
And the other question is, I went through the activity report. Normally I also always want to see the constraints of institutions when they come here. And when I look at the constraints of Naqaa here, usually they have financial constraints, but for them, I have not seen anything, unless I'm missing something. Yeah, because the constraints I saw here is almost like, the challenges, they listed 3. That's the annual data collection from the tertiary institutions, validation, workshop, labor market, etc. So it seems, based on this financial, they are okay. So I don't know if I'm correct.
Honorable?
What? Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah.
Financially, we are limping. It's just that we want to observe financial discipline by judiciously spending the resources allocated to us. Naqaa is one of the regulatory authorities without a national assessment and admin center. In Burkina Faso has one. We have 2 institutions. People are trained and assessed by the same trainers. It takes 2 to dance tango. When your students fail, then you have failed. So when somebody trains and another person assesses, then that will be more reflective of the person's characteristic and ability. So the Gambian needs a national assessment admin center under Naqaa. We costed it with the equipment, and it is in the tune of 120 million. Now, yes, the strategy that NTA used to erect that building where we are now is that they manage their budget and make some savings. And where we are now has been built entirely from internally generated funds. That's the same strategy we are using. This is why you see that when we have 4.9 million, now we need a land where we will start. If we have a land, you will not see those surplus there, because definitely the country needs it so that we can move that forward.
Yes, Chair. Yes, the reason why I'm asking, when you look at that amount of money that you are saving, 4.9, and this center you need is going to cost almost over 100 million. It may take you a lot of years before you are able to put the money together. So for me, I was thinking perhaps, in your strategic plan, that center is actually inclusive, and maybe in your budget that you actually submit to your line ministry, Mohas, maybe there is some kind of money, or are they aware that you need to do this, and in your budget actually is indicated? What is the update on that?
Honorable, there is a lot of threat dangling above that the levy we are receiving. People think that we are over-resourced when we are definitely constrained with it, especially with mobility. We need a larger fleet so that we go around the country monitoring what is happening, who is teaching, what are they teaching, are they doing practicals, and so on. But we are definitely constrained financially. This is why we don't have large fleet. The small fleet we have, we share it with transport control. Sometimes we chase them for 10 months without laying hand on our vehicles. So we definitely need support. As per the Act, subvention is one of the revenues, sources of revenues, but we are not receiving any subvention from government. It's only the levy. And this levy, they are always talking about redistributing the levy. That is killing Naqaa and killing education in the Gambia. Because when Naqaa comes in an institution, everybody sits properly. So making Naqaa to become fragile is compromising education in the Gambia, simply put.
Yes, I know that. As the chair of the education committee, I'm well aware of that. And in fact, we received some complaints, but it's about compliance. But as a committee, we've never considered about those things, because we know what the laws actually says, and they need to be compliant in really what you want to do. So that's why we receive complaints. We never come back to you, because we sorted out, said you go read the laws and understand what it takes for you to be compliant. People generally, they don't want to be compliant. So, but my worry is this: the education levy. Do you know the percentage you are getting? Are they giving everything, or they taking a percentage? What exactly is happening with the education levy?
So actually, we are receiving 75% of what is declared. I'm saying what is declared. Yes.
So where does the other 25% go?
I think it goes into the consolidated revenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Honorable Chair, yes, I think we need to meet with Mohas also and then the Minister of Finance for this education levy, because the levy was meant to actually support them. Now it's kind of like they're using the levy 75% to subvent them. So we need to find out exactly why are they taking it 25% when it's actually meant for them. Because again, now the ministry, they're changing. A lot of the things they're doing, especially they're trying to support TVET institutions. And to do TVET institutions, they need to be compliant. And there are a lot of back and forth that they need to do to ensure that they do the oversight. Well, I'm saying this, I'm the chair of the education committee, but I don't want to wait until you come over there, then we start talking about this issue here, because this is about finance. So this is the right place that we need to sort that one out. So I think we need to have a very clear understanding from the ministry, why are they withholding that 25% from the education levy? Because most companies, they're paying that amount to GRA, but we must find out exactly how much they're getting, because of you are just told you are getting 75% of it, so you don't even know how much the total is anyway. So perhaps we need to find time to also meet with Mohas to clear the issue of the education levy. Why are they not giving everything to them? Yeah.
I think he said something we should underline. He said 75% of what is declared, not so. So we need to know, where can we get the full declaration?
GRA, they can give us.
Yes, from GRA, like evidence of those companies that,
That have
have
paid.
contributed.
Okay.
There you can aggregate it. Our previous external auditors have been complaining about that. That look, check how much is there so that you know what you are entitled to, instead of relying on what is declared and the 75% applied on it. But we didn't have any means of verifying that. We rely on what is sent to us.
Then can we add GRA to the list?
Yes, I think that's what we need to do. Maybe let's get GRA to give us a comparative list of all the institutions that are paying the levy and those that have not paid. You know, after a certain threshold, you are supposed to pay. So let's get a list from GRA also, like those that have paid and those that are yet to pay. Because if some have not paid, which means they owe you, which means you still have something, you know. So from there, then we can reach with the ministry to find out exactly what's happening.
On that note, in the absence of no other issue, can somebody move that we consider and adopt the Naqaa reports, both activity and financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2020?
Yeah. Activity report and financial statements of Naqaa for the year ended 31st December 2020.
Seconder, it has been moved and seconded that this August committee consider and adopt the Naqaa reports for the year ended 31st December 2020. Those in favor, please say aye. And those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. On that note, the said report stands being considered and adopted. Thank you. We look forward to the 2021. Good.
Yeah, you know,
Augustus Prom is very proactive. I can see.
I hope you're not pulling his leg.
No, I just observed that.
You know, Chair, we used to give them as a reference that they are coming very close to being compliant as far as reports are concerned. But I think somebody has overtaken them now, GGCP. They've submitted 2021 and we have done with 2021. Exactly. So you try to catch up, yes. Exactly.
On that note, at this juncture, can somebody move that we adjourn this sitting until tomorrow, 10 a.m.? This time, not Naqaa. We are done with you. Can somebody move? Second, it has been moved and seconded that we adjourn the sitting until tomorrow, 10 a.m. Those in favor, please say aye. And those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. The sitting stands adjourned until tomorrow, 10 a.m. Thank you.